Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you guys a little glimpse of my garden that my dad and I created together back in our old home. Now this video is from last spring, but I did want to take back everyone and show you guys our little garden setup. This right here is actually our beets that we grew last year, and as you can see, the beautiful plant with its red stems. I'm trying to take a bit of a closer look inside so that way I can show you guys the beets. Here we are. Now over here is all of our squash that we started to grow, and as you can see, it's quite a long trail of the squash plant. And we can already see the squash growing over here. This one is a baby squash, but behind it you can kind of see the bigger squash growing. And they did grow beautifully. These squashes were quite surprising for us because we didn't think that they would actually grow in such a small space, but they did grow and they grew really big. And these are the leaves of the plant. Now underneath the squash plant, I don't know if you can tell, but there was actually some hostas, and we also had a cucumber plant section right next to the squash, but honestly the squash just completely overtook both the hostas plant and the cucumber plant that we were growing over here. And if you can see, this little yellow plants that I'm zooming in is actually the beginning flower of the squash. So all of these yellow flowers are literally going to turn into a big squash. Now trying to take a video of the squash and the veggies in between was kind of hard, and so I kind of had my dad come in somewhere around here so that way he could move around some of the branches and the flowers, or the plants I should say, so that way I could zoom in a bit better and show you guys how these veggies are growing in between. And if you can see, this is the hostas plant that I was talking about, the one with the white stripes. And finally here is more of our squash. I think at this point we had about 6 or 7 big squashes that were growing, and the rest were all either really small or they were just like still in their flowering stage. And now we're moving along to more squash. Here's my dad helping me hold down the branches, or hold up the branches I should say, to show you guys. And interestingly, this was actually a cross between a squash and a cucumber, because as I said earlier, the squash completely took over the cucumbers. So we did have some squashes that ended up becoming like crossed between 2 different plants. So this is actually a cucumber squash. This over here is actually a goldenrod plant, and I actually didn't know too much about the goldenrod plants. It sort of just started growing on its own in our garden, but we did notice one thing, which was this plant alone attracted so many bees and butterflies, and so we ended up keeping it. And you can see it's so beautiful, and I started researching a little bit more about goldenrod plants, and I learned that just drinking tea made from goldenrod plants can help reduce inflammation in the body. It's great for kidney, and it's amazing for reducing blood pressure. And so of course, after doing my research, I then decided to why not try making some tea with goldenrod plants. So I gathered some of these yellow flowers of the goldenrod plant, and all I did was take a teapot and I filled it with boiling hot water. And then I placed my yellow flowers, of course, be sure to wash them before you do. And then once I had them inside the teapot, I let it just sit in the teapot for about, 5-10 minutes. And you can see here, this is how I cut them. I washed them first, and then I kind of dried them down with a little napkin before I put them in the teapot. We then all gathered together in the backyard where we pulled out some of our honey and our small teacups. And here's my teapot with the plant. And here's the final tea. It looked so beautiful, absolutely golden, and had a very slight calming taste to it. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it was just so calming and soothing. Honestly, you will enjoy it so much. Thanks for watching a snippet of our little garden. Bye everyone.